Hello, everyone. My name is Irene Marks. Thank you for listening. I'm a bilingual writer. I write in English and Portuguese, and I have several books published in Canada and Portugal. So I'm going to read from Daria, my latest novel published by Inanna Publications. And Daria is really about a young girl who immigrates from Portugal at the age of 20. She immigrates to Canada. So the novel revolves around Daria, but, and this is a very important aspect of the novel then moves into many other directions and narratives. So you have multiple characters, multiple other stories being told through the voice of Daria, sometimes directly or indirectly. And so the novel is transnational, transtemporal, so it takes place between Canada, Mozambique, Portugal, Cape Verde. It deals with the personal life of Daria, but then it moves into the collective, and it deals with various issues, including the Portuguese colonial wars in Africa and the Second World War, the fascist regime in Portugal, sexism, patriarchy, racism, etc. So it's a very multi-dimensional novel. So the section that I'm going to read a short section from a letter that Antonio de Oliveira Salazar, the Portuguese dictator who runs the country between early 1930s until late 1960s. So he writes a letter to his cousin Arsenio, who is in Tarrafal in Cape Verde, where the prison is held, the prison for the political regime that imprisons anyone who is against the regime, including communists and, of course, anti-colonial African combatants from Mozambique. So there is a novel inside the novel. So the section that I'm going to read is from the novel written by Francisco Mutumba, who is the Mozambican anti-colonial combatant who moves to Canada and is the ambassador of Mozambique in Canada, and then has a relationship with Daria. So I'm going to read a short section from the letter, which is inside the novel written by the Mozambican anti-colonial combatant. My dearest cousin Arsenio, it is with love and tenderness that I write you this letter, and it is also with a great urgency that I come to tell you of the things that are happening here in the metropolis, things that make me fear that our great nation has reached the brink of doom. There are many people who want to destroy us, and I'm even afraid of those who claim to be our friends, like the Americans and the British. It seems to me that everyone is looking after their own interests. They want the base in the Azores to attack the Axis. They also want to stop our trade with the Germans, a trade that we need very much for fuel. We sell the Germans wolfram and they give us coal. As much as I want to stay neutral in this ugly war and avoid the massacre of my brothers and sisters, I still have to run my country and save my empire. I never forget that I have to work very hard because I'm poor and the son of the poor. I'm being pulled from everywhere and by many, and with many strings. I even fear the Allies' connections with the communists, those red devils who are infiltrating our provinces in Africa, bringing arms and irrational ideas to our darker brothers and sisters. I feel pulled into many directions all at once. I am never certain of the nature of the wind pulling me, but I do know that we do not have much time to save the nation from all of those who have an eye on it. The Americans even want to bring Coca-Cola into our nation to spoil our serenity and make us drunkards of modernity. Can you believe that? I want to preserve the bitter, sweet taste of our Vimieiro wine. I want to keep my garden with its beautiful wild flowers and the naked granite rocks that served as our seat in our childhood when we conversed like true brothers and made plans for the future. The other day, I received a letter from an American impresario asking permission to introduce the drink into our nation. He sent me a sample in a nice glass bottle that had the shape of a woman's body and wrote, "This drink, sir, is a drink of the future of all nations, cool, brown, and with a zesty taste. This drink, sir, is the best invention since the invention of electricity, and it will make many countries rich." I tasted it, and I could not stand its sweet, biting, gassy feel on my gussative glands. I spit it out right away on the floor of my office. This is how I replied to the ignorant and audacious impresario. "Dear Mr. Anderson, you do not understand my nation, nor do you understand my own temperament. You should know that, above all, I detest modernism and its avant-garde daughter, Damsel Efficiency, with whom you Americans are so in love. I tremble with fear and raging disgust at the idea that your large, loud, clumsy, and unattractive trucks will invade at high velocity our old cities, changing as they pass the sacred rhythm of our secular habits. We have a long history, sir, a very long history, a history of commanders-in-chief and discoverers. As long as I live, sir, I will not allow your second-rate, mass-produced junk into my nation, as long as I live, sir. But the other day I had a gentle visitor from America, a certain rabbi by the name of Solomon Lepine, dropped by to thank me and my people for the help that we have provided to the Jews by making Lisbon a city that welcomes them, a place where they can safely live or just pass through en route to the Americas. He took my hand and thanked me profusely, calling me his brother. At that point, I could not help myself. I pulled up my sleeve and said, "Rabbi Solomon Lepine, see these veins? Here runs real Jewish blood from my great-great-great-grandmother, Caterina de Coimbra." We looked at each other with tears in our eyes, and we hugged in a tight embrace, staying intertwined for a long while, mourning the ashes of the brothers and sisters annihilated by the damned Hitler. And then, dear cousin, that night I had the most frightening dream. I dreamed that I was in Hitler and that Hitler was in me, and I felt like I was killing myself over and over again. In the dream, I saw mountains of gold in front of a concentration camp. When I looked more carefully, I saw, mixed with the glittering gold, thousands and thousands of Jewish bodies, men and women, boys and girls, with their twisted legs, skeletal bodies dwindling away into a desecrated nothingness. And then I saw myself rummaging throughout the piles of people and gold, stealing the gold away, filling my pockets and all the bags I had with me. I'm going to end here. The letter continues. Thank you.